Smell what the Rock is cooking.
Oh, recording live from two locations.
This is Past the Rock.
I am Patrick, and I think for the fourth week straight now, there's only two of us. I don't remember. It's been a while. It's not a bad thing. Everyone's got stuff going on, but it'll be fun to get us back together eventually. But yeah, so we are without Bethke this week. He's fine. He's life gets busy.
No, sir. What actually happened is he's in Guantanamo. Okay, let's be real. We gotta be honest with the audience. All right, they found him planning a coup of the NBA offices, and Adam Silver made the boss call, and now he's in Guantanamo.
You know, there was rumors of anti-Castro pigeons seen drinking in bars. Someone overheard them saying, "Coup, coup, coup."
Yeah, I think of the three of us, I'd probably be the first one to go, but we'll see. So not our standard affair here, but we are going to do some quick hits before we get to whatever the meat of the day is. Look, the Rangers still can't hit consistently. At least they'll pop off once a week for like 8 or 10, but every other game's like 0 or 1.
Yeah, I mean they got guys in there who have all the ability in the world to actually hit. They just can't do it, and I don't know if it's stemming from their hitting coach or there's just something with the skipper that we have now. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's frustrating. This is a frustrating team.
If you just exclude the World Series, like the actual playoff run, this has been going on since the second half of 2023. It's been the same crap. So the hitting coach has been around through most of that. I don't really understand why he's still there. Skip, this is Skip's first year here, so I'm not going to put too much blame on him when it's pretty much the exact same results we saw last year. Like, what's he supposed to do?
Also, and this may be a hot take, but I think of all the major sports, the four major sports in North America, at least, like the manager for baseball, it feels like the least relevant of the four in terms of like on a grand scale.
In-game decisions in terms of who you're putting into pitch, where you're moving, hitters, when you're telling people to take. There's all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm just saying, like, if you had to power rank which one you feel like in the eyes of the average fan, I'm talking about average fan, right? So you have very much your casual viewers. You're like, yeah, it's either that or hockey, as in like your two, like.
Hockey might be the most, in my opinion, just because there's less in-game decision making they really have to make. They switch up lines and stuff, but most of the time that's just you're on it's the players it's the players who need to adjust.
Yeah.
Hockey guys the coaches are instilling their stuff in camps and practice and stuff like that, not necessarily on the ice as much. But again, that's the one that we both have the least experience with, probably, especially playing, so we don't really know.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, the Rangers are only a game back of first place in the AL West because the division is abhorrent. So even after losing 2 or 3 to the Astros, we still are ahead of them by a bit. I think
That's
they
crazy.
lost.
They're 23 and 25, and they're a game back of first.
Now they're probably a game and a half because we did lose this afternoon. So yeah, the A's are in first right now, which I don't think will hold. I really do believe it's probably going to be Houston who comes out of it, but I would like it to be
A's.
Don't have. They're not even Sacramento. They're just the Athletics. They play in Sacramento, but they don't wear the name anywhere.
No, but I'm addressing them for where they play.
Yeah, it sucks. But that's pretty much what's going on there. Again, just another week into a long season. Pitching still looks great. There's some guys on the DL. Corey Seager, they moved to the injured list. Don't know how serious it really is because it's that one of those things where like, oh, day to day. Oh, actually, we're gonna go ahead and put him on the 10-day IL. So we'll see. But he needs a break.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if it's possible, man, but I would just like to see somebody in in the front office side just like, hey, you know what? Let's try to make a move somewhere for a bat. Like it doesn't even have to be like a big name guy, just anybody. Like I don't care if it's a guy who hits 225, but it's just drilling home runs, or somebody who has a high batting average. Maybe he doesn't hit for power, but I'm like, just want somebody who can get this offense going consistently because we, like you said, this has been happening for multiple seasons now, where you give them that early season like benefit of the doubt, and then it just continues to be the same old, and then it's like, well, shit, yeah, this sucks.
Yeah, that's where we're at, but it's okay. Still May. We'll see where it goes.
See, this is the exact same conversation we had last year at this time.
If the division were better, I would feel a lot worse about it. But because again, if we get in the playoffs, we have the pitching staff to just humiliate people. So could go that way. Not.
But if you remember our playoff run or our World Series run, I mean, we were smacking the shit out of the ball in timely fashion, in timely moments.
And you realize we had to win all those games on the road because no one can hit in our ballpark on either team, really.
Yeah, a pitcher's ballpark in Texas is crazy.
Yeah, we either have like the very first or maybe second ranked ballpark in terms of fewest runs.
Then also behind Detroit or San Diego?
If I had to guess, man, it used to be Oakland. I actually don't know. There's no way. Minnesota, maybe they got a pitcher-friendly park over there. But anyways, neither here nor there. They'll keep playing, and we'll talk about it more at some point. They are still playing hockey. I did mention this last week in our little private chat. This is the only story I want to talk about is the Golden Knights thing. Which is pretty crazy, and I don't think I've ever seen anything like this happen, especially in the middle of the playoffs. So for anyone who doesn't know, just a precursor, the Golden Knights had a player suspended for a game against the Ducks. They do end up winning that game, which eliminates the Ducks. The Golden Knights would go on to the Western Conference Final. But their coach and the whole team got in trouble with the league to the point where they lost. They took away a second-round draft pick, so that's all they had for them to take away, and then they fined the coach specifically $100,000. So right now, Vegas will have no first or second round pick in the next 2 drafts, and that's going to be a problem if they want to, maintain their playoff roster.
Yeah, that sounds crazy to dock a team that much punishment for essentially not wanting to talk to the media, right?
Well, there's that, and then another thing that if you don't watch hockey at all, or even if just a little bit, you might not realize that, especially. They do, at the end of each series, they do the handshake line, which is all the coaches and all the players. Like, no matter what happens, when that series is over, we're doing the handshake line. And it's just kind of hockey is built on this, like, respect, brotherhood type stuff, where the game's more important than any one person. So the Vegas coach, mad about his player being suspended, decides he'll shake the coach's hands and then just dip. Which I can't imagine what the equivalent of that is. It's, you see this in the NFL sometimes where they're like, ooh, did that coach handshake? Did that go wrong? It's kind of into that, but it's even more serious because it's baked into the blood of the game. So that, and then he refused media availability. I think they only let one player go out and talk to anybody. They wouldn't let the media in their locker room. They just got up and left.
That is kind of crazy.
It is, and then they've been supposedly warned before about their media obligations and how they handle those. So I think they're just like, look, dude, final straw, we got to punish you just so you stop this shit or just keep paying the price for it. So they appealed and lost, so that all that punishment's going to stand, which, again, is pretty wild, especially in the middle of the playoffs for a team that's still playing hockey right now. But hey, that's the way she goes. Your CBA has these conditions and you're supposed to follow them, and if you don't, there's got to be a punishment, especially in the NHL where it's like they need all the press they can get. somebody not giving it is it's a problem for the whole league. But that's about it. They're still playing hockey, but we don't care because our team already lost. And with that, oops, I gotta go over here for this. We'll get into what we like to call CTE ball.
I've learned very very valuable lesson. You don't fuck around and find out.
And so let's just go ahead and kick things off. So not a ton right now. It is May, so there's not a ton of NFL news, but there is some. So we're going to get to it. I would say the biggest news, and this broke earlier today as of recording, Aaron Rodgers not only is re-signing a one-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers, he is announcing that he will be retiring at the end of the season. So we will see if he stays true to that, because right now he's been following the Brett Favre playbook to a T of will he, won't he return or not return. So crazy how a guy that hated his guts and he hated him back has just been following the exact same road, at least as a player, that Brett Favre once did. So you got that. And then we also have news of Rashee Rice, who violated his probation and will be basically had to go to jail for, I think I saw it was 30 days, if I'm not mistaken. So he violated a drug test, which, come on, man. You have you got off so easy. All you have to do is just be a little smart. But, Rashee Rice has not been making smart decisions. So he will, I don't know if the league will discipline him or if they're just going to allow the legal process to, do its thing. This is the NFL. They do not follow any sort of standards at all, right? That they hold themselves to, and then of course hold players to. So it's really wishy-washy, pick and choose. So we'll see what the NFL decides to choose to do with Rashee Rice. If there is going to be a multi-game suspension of any sort for this violation. The wide receiver situation in Kansas City, not great. Definitely not. It's probably the weakest it's ever been. So we will see if this, spurs the organization to try and seek a receiver. Perhaps maybe they want to throw their hat into the A.J. Brown discussion. Maybe not. And we will go from there. We'll keep you updated on that as more information is provided to us. Next thing. So, NFL owners have approved playing up to 10 international games beyond the 2026 season. This benefits nobody except the league. And I was listening, Patrick, to I think it was Pablo Torre Finds Out, and they were talking about, I forgot what the actual full discussion, what the topic was, but I'm pretty sure it had to do with the NFL. Because they had the guy who was the former president of ESPN and then a former president of the Florida Marlins, talking about this.
David Sampson.
Yes. And they were talking about, the NFL and, their media rights situation and all that going on. And I'm listening to this and they're making some good points, especially about the international part of this, right? Because the NFL wants to become an international global sporting, that other countries are participating in. I mean, they have the International Pathway Program, so they can find athletes outside of the U.S. And they've had some minor successes here and there. I mean, I think the biggest success for that program has been Jordan Mailata of the Philadelphia Eagles. But I'm thinking about this. I'm like, this just playing more games internationally isn't going to build a fan base and a culture of American football elsewhere, because it's gimmicky over there. It's gimmicky everywhere, right?
Honestly, it feels like, I hate to say this, but it feels to me like when I go to see wrestling, where I'm like, I don't really care about the plot, the story of what's going on here. I just want to see the event.
Yeah, you just want to, participate. You're like, oh, might as well go. I mean, it's not, it's something to do. And that's what it is in Europe. It's something to do. In South America, it is something to do. I think the most success that they could possibly find, right, might be Australia. But even then, I mean, Australia has their own version of football that they are diehards over.
I think the long-term play that they're thinking of is the flag football game. Is flag football will eventually replace at some point, or at least maybe they can make it an international thing where they own the international flag football. But
Well, yeah, okay, but see, here's the thing. At that point, you know, you could establish like some flag football thing, but you're still sending the full pads product to Europe and South America and Australia now, and
they're trying to build this because they think this is eventually not going to be the main moneymaker.
which I don't know. I don't know if they have that kind of foresight because sometimes it doesn't feel like they do.
They could have started it a lot earlier, but they didn't.
For sure. I mean, we'll see. I don't like the whole the international game, like the international game series that they have going on. It's real gimmicky. When you, and especially because football is has evolved into such a TV product, right? But you still kind of rely on like the energy of that fan base to kind of seep through the TV, if you will. Like as you see it with like Seahawks games, you see it with Philly games, Kansas City games, pregame Minnesota, the skull chants. Like you get some of these like real diehard fan bases, and you kind of feel that energy in those games, especially if like it's early in the season or the team's doing really well. You don't really get that in Europe because you got a bunch of people who are like they're wearing a different team's jersey than the one that's playing because they just want to see a football game, right? And I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the expansion of the international games.
Yeah, I think they don't fully know what to do with it, and they're just throwing shit at the wall.
Yeah, and if anything, honestly, they should be doing this instead of using like actual real games with real weight to them. Why don't you just have the entire preseason be played abroad? Just why not? Like, they're gonna get the same quality product, the European fans, because those teams, like if you've ever seen, you've watched your Vikings play some international games here recently. It's not always a great game quality wise because you know those players are jet lagged. They're adjusting to a different time zone. And yeah, I don't know, man. It just doesn't feel like this is necessary, especially because like you're not, when you compare the NFL to basketball, soccer, right? We were talking about these two major sports that globally, right, have such a foothold in Europe, right? In Asia, in South America. You're not going to wrestle that away from them like you did here. You did that here, right? You were able to do that here because, you know, the culture just fits. Like the American culture just fits with the product of football. It's not, you're not going to get the same thing over there. And also, for anybody who's like, I just want to talk to people there in the NFL offices. I'm like, the one thing that you don't have over in these countries, as far as I'm aware, is the sizes of the schools, right? And the sizes of the kids are just a little different. You're not going to be producing NFL-size athletes over there like you do here because there's a lot of things that go into nutrition and all this other stuff that could take hours to talk about onto how this game grew along with the growing individuals who play the sport. And we're talking about like from a physical standpoint, like there's just so much. And like your best bet though might be like, again, like places like Samoa or, you know,
which position you're talking about?
Oceania.
Anyone
Offense.
who's a
Lineman.
top tier, I was gonna say anyone who's like a top tier soccer player that's at least like 6 foot could probably at least keep up with wide receivers or cornerbacks, you know?
No, absolutely. But the game is ultimately still played in the trenches. And that is the foundation of the sport. The best places you're going to find for that outside of the U.S., right? like I said, like any Polynesian islands. You might have some successes in certain countries in Africa, because we're seeing in the International Pathway Program guys who are designated linemen going through the program. Like, oh yeah, these guys are huge. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, you can definitely play there. But again, it's going to take so much work that I just don't think the NFL is going to actually truly put in. So I'm like, this just feels like a waste of a home game for a fan base that really wants to see their team play, right? Because I know the 17-game schedule will like, well, you get 18 games at home, you get 8 games at home on 1 year, and then 9 games the next year. But like that 9th game might be in Europe. So really, it's 8 here, 8 away, and then 1 in Europe, which is basically just another away game. So I don't know. This feels like me ranting at this point right now. But yeah, I just don't agree at all with trying to expand the European series, if you will. There's a reason NFL Europe died.
Yeah, and it was kind of fun when I went to Denver once and I got to go to a game at like 7 a.m. at a bar. That was fun to see, but like I wouldn't want that every year, and it's probably not great for the team.
Definitely not, right? And I'm sure it's not good for the health of the players either. But the NFL does not care about the health of the players. That we know for sure. No matter whatever bogus thing they try to say. And all right, so we're done with that part. So we've talked about that. And in some Vikings news, the Vikings have scheduled 5 GM interviews for next week. So I'm interested in this for the sole reason of seeing how attached at the hip the GM will be to Kevin O'Connell. Because, in my personal opinion, the GM and the head coach, in normal circumstances, should be hired together and fired together. Like that's just my opinion on that. So it'll be very interesting to see what the power balance will be once they've hired the GM in Minnesota. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that or not.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we've done such a poor job of drafting over however many years now that I'm just like, do whatever you want, because it can't. I mean, it can get worse, but I don't expect it. I think they're gonna. Yeah, it's tough. It's always weird for a coach to have a GM hired. But Kevin O'Connell seems like a smart guy, so if he really is a good coach, I think he'll work his way through it.
Understandable. Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll see. Because there are some places where the head coach does have more power than the GM, which doesn't really check out in my head. Just because it's like you're the front office guy, you're the one who technically would be in charge of hiring the coach should something happen to the coach, right? But anyway. Also, in other news, Indianapolis has been selected to host the 2028 NFL Draft. Are you going to be going there? Are you going to the draft in 2028? You going to Minnesota? Yeah?
There's 0% chance.
Understandable. I also wouldn't want to go to a draft. I mean, we had one here at AT&T like 2018 or something.
Unless someone wants to pay for me to go, then I'll go. But I will not be paying for me to go.
Yeah, if the NFL, I wonder if the NFL. I'm sure the NFL does charge fans to attend, but I'm like,
what
am I? I'm like, why? What am I paying to see here? A guy get his name called. He walks up for about a couple seconds, holds up a jersey, may shake Goodell's hand, may give him a big bear hug, and then leaves. And then I just talk shit.
You also get to see all like the old legends and the Make-A-Wish kids and the whatever other bits they got going on.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just gonna watch that shit from home, or not even watch the full thing. I used to be a sicko, like a real sicko when I was a kid. I watched all 3 days of the draft back when it was a 3-day event. Round 1, or was it 3-day event or was it a 2-day event where like it was rounds 1 through 3 in one day and then 4 through 7 the next? However they had it. The old format. I watched the full format, like the whole thing. I was a real sicko back in the day. Now I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna check the app and then tune in whenever my team makes the decision if I have time.
I look at it mostly the next day, unless there's like something I'm actually like, if we have a high enough pick and I'm like, what are we doing here? I'll keep up to that point.
Yeah. See, that's understandable. See, with my team, Howie Roseman's a very aggressive GM. So there is a very real possibility he makes a huge move, huge splash. So I have to tune in as an Eagles fan. Otherwise, I'm just like, I don't want to
But then also
see that
nowadays
later.
you can just reload the Eagles subreddit and find out what's going on minute by minute, probably faster than what's actually on TV.
Oh yeah, for sure. Those Redditors are fast, man. And then last bit of news. For anybody who cares, which I don't know why you would unless you live in the city. Nashville, the city of Nashville, will host the Super Bowl in the year 2030, following the NFL's owner meetings or Spring League meetings in Orlando.
Building a new stadium?
Yes, they do have a new stadium coming out. I believe soon.
Is it a dome?
If not, it does not appear to be a dome, but I don't feel like Nashville gets crazy wintry weather.
I was thinking about the heat.
I mean, it'll be in February, so I doubt it's going to be. Nissan, yeah, you're going to have to look up Nissan Stadium. I think that's what it's going to be called in Nashville.
It's Wikipedia page. It's actually new Nissan Stadium.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, wow. Is it a dome?
No. Doesn't look like it is.
Oh, all right. Yeah, weird that you would build a brand new outdoor stadium like that.
The 1.7 million. Oh god, I just shrunk the page.
Wait, what?
Proposed stadium would be a dome having a seating capacity of 55 to 60,000. It's just there's no one's going to build not a dome anymore. I don't even know why I asked.
Yeah, I understand, because I'm like, the only places that you would not build a dome, I feel,
why?
people would still build a dome, like LA. There's no reason for there to be a closed roof stadium there, but they have one.
I think it's hot in LA now.
I guess,
If it's in
I don't know.
LA, where the actual stadium is, it could be like halfway north of halfway through California. I don't actually know, but
All right. Well, yep. That's all the news that I got for the CTEs. Next week, when we have the full lineup here, I'm going to talk to y'all about the new head coach Fight Club with a twist. That's how we tease that.
Yeah, that was great. I was not set up at all for this, so we're just gonna casually do stuff. Oh man, okay. We'll throw that up there, and then I'll hit this button so people know what we're talking about.
Basketball, gimme the ball because I'm gonna dunk it!
All right, it's conference final time. We're gonna do
brother.
without our main hoop head Jacob, but we'll figure this out. It shouldn't be too hard. I'm at least keeping
the ball goes into the net. That's it. You dribble a ball, like this, and then you just chuck that shit up in the air, and it hopefully goes in there. And that's all I know about basketball. Now that because my love for the game was ripped away from me.
Oh yeah. Well, other people who have had their heart broken in the last week are the fans of the Detroit Pistons and the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I think
I would argue that only one fan base deserves this, by the way.
I think I wrote down the wrong team in the rundown for the East, but I remembered it just now. The Pistons thing is crazy.
Well, actually, no, not the fan. Maybe the fan bases don't deserve it, but the teams do.
Yeah,
themselves.
the Pistons have a lot to figure out. They've got part owner of the Texas Rangers, Cade Cunningham, and then a bunch of decisions to make after him. Because he's really
good. He's really good, and Jalen Duren was dog shit.
He didn't play very well, which is a bad time for him because I believe he's up for a contract this offseason.
Patrick, and not to derail us, but I have a tendency to do the derailing from time to time. I wish that you had stuck around on Twitter just long enough to see the Jalen Duren slander tweets, because some of them were so goddamn good. And I have this bad habit of telling myself, yeah, I'm gonna save this and show it on the pod, and then I never do. But there was one where the tweet was POV. You're watching your what you see when you are losing your generational your chance of generational wealth, and it's Jarrett Allen of the Cavs at his wedding dancing to High School Musical, because he was giving the front court of the Detroit Pistons hell. And so yeah, no, it was fun times. Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted on my end.
I was seeing if I could get the video really quick, but it's going to take me longer and it won't be relevant by the time I actually get it to work. So, things not looking so great for the Pistons, but they've still got hope. They've got a young enough core that they could keep going for a while in the East, I believe. On the other side of things, the Wolves, honestly, I mean, they took 2 games, but otherwise they were just getting their shit rocked. And they've, again, also got some decisions to make. Jacob wanted us to mention that there's some questions on Rudy. I still think Rudy was effective in his own right, but maybe his offense is not good enough for him to be out there. I think Julius Randle is a big question for them because he kind of didn't help the series.
Yeah.
Even worse than disappeared, missing shot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're just not playing or something, but if you're just taking a bunch of shots and missing them, that's rough.
Yeah, man. Like, okay, they with the Wolves, and this is the thing that I was going to get to, is I relish anytime Rudy Gobert fails because I just don't like him. I think he is just awful, and he's French. It's 2 things that compound on top of each other, right? Now, Wemby's cool, okay? He is beyond French, okay? He's Maoist, so that makes him base as fuck. But on top of that, okay, but besides that, rather, okay, I can't stand him. So the fact that the Timberwolves got kicked out in 6 games, that was great. Probably should have happened in 5, a gentleman's sweep, but Wemby got ejected because that was a weak call by the refs. I'm like, that was self-defense, okay? That elbow, that was accidental.
I think it was the right call, but I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people want you to believe it was.
Yeah, I think it was the wrong call. I'm sorry, this is the playoffs. We can't be having this nonsense. It decided a game that went longer. The series went on longer than it should have. This could definitely be affecting them against OKC, except it probably won't if we're being honest. But let's talk about this one thing though, right? With the Timberwolves, you got Ant. You have your superstar. You got the guy, and then you have McDaniels. All right, that guy, he can be a really good number 2, number 3. But then you look, like we were talking about, their front court with Randall and with Gobert. Gobert, because he has so much negative karma, we're going away from the analytical part. We're going straight into the supernatural metaphysical shit. He has so much horrible karma because he is, again, awful and French. Okay. That he is going to find himself in constant situations where his team is going to lose and he is going to look like a fool at very key pivotal parts of the game in the playoffs. Regular season, he'll be fine, right? He's going to be in constant contention for defensive players of the year conversations, whatever. Okay. But the regular season really does not matter all too much nowadays. So if they get rid of Rudy Gobert, they'll be fine. I think you're not going to find as good of a traditional defensive center as him, I think. But do you really need that right now? I think you're going to need something else to help you keep up with the likes of Wemby and the Spurs. And then you have SGA and OKC.
Yeah, I think
These
the
are
Wolves
too high.
a pretty similar place to where they were when they had Kevin Garnett, where it's like, this is a really good team, but there's too many better teams around.
No, exactly. And they underachieved in the regular season, one might say. Although I wasn't paying that much attention, so I could be talking out my ass. Bethke can come in and correct me next week.
A very good 6th seed. You don't usually get that, and this wasn't a year where they should have been that probably. But if guys are hurt and you lose games, or I don't remember what the situation is, maybe they just started off poorly. I can't remember, but it happens, and that's kind of scary for the really good teams because it's like, oh shit, we ran into these guys real early here. Yeah. So that means we're now into the conference finals. We'll briefly mention that the Cavs are playing the Knicks. That's a fun series, especially for like real hoop heads. Two older teams, historic teams playing each other there. Bethke's note is somehow both of these teams are who we thought they were, and this series is gonna be funny. I don't know what that means, but I imagine it's a bunch of James Harden slander. That's what
I mean, let's look at it, right? All right, you got two teams that are heavily dependent on one guy on each side of the ball, right? If Jalen Brunson ain't going, the Knicks ain't going. If Donovan Mitchell ain't going, you can't rely on James Harden. James Harden, we have over a decade of James Harden in the playoff data to show that this guy, who does not have internet, which is the joke, this guy doesn't have internet. He also doesn't have any like clutch factor in the playoffs. This is a regular season merchant. All right. Okay. Yeah, that one's good. But he's a regular season merchant. This dude sucks in the playoffs. Okay. Sure. Is he one of the all-time great scoring guards that we've ever had? Absolutely. It doesn't mean shit when the playoffs comes around because he doesn't do anything. Even when he has a good game, right? You can almost always count for the next.
We got frozen delayed seas. I will keep vamping. So I think I'm just gonna leave him like this. Game 1 of the Cavs Knicks series was pretty wild. The Knicks got out to a nice lead in the first. Cavs came storming back, took a huge lead going into the fourth. Up to like 7 minutes left, they were up by like 20 or just slightly under that. But Jalen Brunson couldn't miss. And he fought back, got the Knicks into overtime, where they would eventually win. I think they outscored them 12-5 or something like that in the OT. So that's kind of what the NBA wants, I would think. Two teams that are going to be generally competitive playing against each other. And I'll go ahead and just do my little piece here, I guess, on Spurs and Thunder. It should be a great series. Obviously, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just won the MVP, which is pretty wild. I mean, earned. I don't mean wild in a bad way. Just these guys are really young and winning awards like this. Hopefully, Wemby gets his shot in the next year or so. But really, all I care about is what's happening now. The playoffs. Oh, and here we go. I think he's back.
I'm back. This was a psyop. That was a psyop. Okay.
I've transitioned us into Spurs Thunder.
Hold on. No, wait. I got to finish where I was at. Where was I in my rant?
I don't remember.
No, right. Well,
I waited for a good like 5 seconds for you to come back before I started vamping because I was just like, oh, he's not just like lag.
No, it's I don't know what's going on. Okay, back to what I was saying though. We're going to go back to this Knicks Cavs thing. All right, for a moment because I have to get this off on James Harden. Okay, because anytime that he has a solid game in the playoffs, he follows it up with like 3 straight games of absolute ass. All right, he's terrible when it matters most, and somehow, some way, he has found himself in a situation that he's always wanted to be in, and that is in the playoffs. He is not the primary scorer. The buck does not stop with him. He can have bad games from time to time. That's all he's ever wanted, ever since I don't know what point in time of his career. But this is a guy who should not ever have been anybody's number one option as a franchise guy because he shrinks All right, when the lights are brightest, he shits himself. We saw that. We should have seen those signs early on in his OKC days because he disappeared in the finals back in those days. And he's only ever continued to disappear in the playoffs for huge chunks at a time. Okay. So he had that one run where he was incredibly hot in the playoffs. I believe, what was it? When the Rockets were on the brink of eliminating the Warriors. And then since then, he has fallen apart in the playoffs. Like that ruined him, in my opinion, as a playoff performer. So that's all I had to say on that. That's what makes this series funny, because both teams really they don't have like a true number two. Because Cat, you could say, is a true number two, but even he just sometimes just doesn't show up.
Fair enough. But yeah, so in the West we got Spurs Thunder. I already mentioned Shea won the MVP. I don't know if you have any specific thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious that almost every media outlet on social media has shown SGA's photo of him winning MVP with him being at the free throw line. That's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. Free throw merchant. This is great. Honestly, because I'm not gonna keep it too serious here. One of the funniest potential outcomes of the matchups that we could see in the NBA Finals would be Cavs OKC, because we could finally get the stupid meet-off thing, if you remember that, where both of these guys were underwear models for a specific brand, and the weird NBA stands were like, "Oh my God, SGA got out-meated." And these are actual words that were being said. These aren't sentences that I'm making up. I'm using verbatim things that were said on the internet about this. So that would be funny, just to see those weirdos kind of prop up again on the feed. But yeah, other than that, as far as SGA winning the MVP, I got nothing. You know,
It
got nothing.
was probably of note that because they were going to announce that on Amazon Prime at some point, it was leaked early in the morning by ESPN's Shams Charania. Kind of a dick move, but that's his whole point, is not really reporting, just telling us stuff we're going to find out about later, which isn't the same thing as reporting. But anyways, I digress. So the matchup's really fun, and just like in the East, Game 1 goes to overtime, albeit a little bit differently. The Spurs dominated I wouldn't say dominated. The Spurs led most of that game, and it felt like they were going to at some point take control, and they never did. Down to Wemby misses a shot late in the fourth that I believe I sent a message in our chat of like, he had a chance to win it, and now we're going to lose. Which ultimately they still find their way into overtime.
Double overtime.
I was gonna say, and then into double overtime. We got the Wemby, the highlight three, which a lot of people are lining up with Steph hitting a three from the logo. I'm putting that in air quotes because it's not, for me, like, from the logo should be like basically you're in the circle, but some of these logos are so damn big that they extend into. Yeah. It was a long three, don't get me wrong, but I just hate calling everything a logo three just because you made your logo so big. But again, it was an incredible performance from Wemby, 40 and 20. Obviously, going 2 OTs helps, and I don't know if he'll be able to play 40 minutes for 7 games if that's what it takes. That's a scary thought.
I think he can, because he is propelled by his hatred for Chet Holmgren.
And that's a funny thing, that this is basically like this is like a Disney movie, like a childhood rival that you kept losing to your entire life, but now you have a chance to actually be in control.
Except this season, they've been kicking the Thunder's ass all throughout the regular season.
Mostly in international play. He's the USA has been just a little bit better than his French team, especially when he was younger. They were probably a lot better. Now it's probably a little more close, but I don't even know if Chet was on Team USA in the last Olympics.
No, he wasn't. No.
I watched the games and I couldn't figure who plays for the team still.
Yeah, I don't know where the hate boner for Chet Holmgren has come from on Wemby's end, but I appreciate it, because this is
national tournaments when they were kids.
There is nothing better than a superstar, otherworldly NBA player having a hate boner for a guy who's many leagues below him in terms of talent, and just seeing him is like, I'm going to make your life hell. Michael Jordan did it. I'm sure LeBron did it. I'm sure all the greats have done it. You know, they just pick a guy and they're like, I hate you, and I'm gonna make you hate guarding me.
Yeah, game one was super fun. Like I mentioned, Wemby did really well. Castle had an incredible game. Harper was awesome. Carter Bryant didn't shut SGA down, but he definitely slowed him down. Carter Bryant's so fun to watch. As much as I miss Jeremy Sohan, Carter Bryant's kind of doing that job. So
Yeah,
not the exact same being a productive role player at a very high level.
Yeah, and you know, again, I've not been as plugged into the NBA in recent years for obvious reasons, but there's one thing that I guess just from like a outside looking in perspective, I've noticed when comparing these two teams, right? Where you look at OKC and it's a very deep team, right? They can go 9-10 guys. You know, you can put their bench out there for quite some time, and then I'm not sure if you can say the exact same for San Antonio. It feels like San Antonio is more of the mold of like you can go about 8 deep, and as long as Wemby is playing the majority of the game, you're going to be in any game against any team.
Yeah, he is
which,
like breaks the handicap of like
yeah, where it feels like this Spurs team from the makeup, right? Not like we're going into everybody's role, what they do, or even the exact same type of players. But one thing that this reminds me of is that Mavs team that went to the finals against the Heat the first time, in 2006, where everything was built around one player, right? Where like it wasn't the super deepest of teams, but like they could go against anybody because that one player was so dang good, and he changed the math on the court just because of where he could play. Wouldn't be very similar. I mean, we saw that incredibly long 3-point, shot that he made. Like you have a 7'5" guy that plays inside, outside. He can play at the rim. He can also play from deep from three, though you may not necessarily always want him there. And and then of course, he's a two-way player, so he's going to do some great things defensively because of his length and just his spacing and his spatial awareness. And the fact that he can make up ground, very different from what the Mavs had back in that day. But it just feels like this is a team that's built around one guy just the right way, right? Where there is not a true number two, at least in my opinion, with the Spurs. But it still works. Like, it still genuinely works because how good that number one guy is.
Yeah, and the Spurs are benefiting a lot from having like multiple young guys just way outperforming what anyone that young should. Wemby, Castle, Harper, and again Carter Bryant. And then you got the sixth man of the year, literally Keldon Johnson. So they're deep, and I think they're a little stronger in the top parts, whereas OKC's got a better under, like you mentioned, guys further a little bit down the bench. But it's really just a perfect matchup for anybody. Hey, look, now we're sponsored by DoorDash. But it's going to be exciting. Obviously, game 2 just started, so I'm going to be a little distracted from here on out. But
we're almost at the end.
It's really fun, and watching them not collapse yet has been awesome because they're a young team, and you could just see that happening in any round. The fact that they're right now against the defending champs and holding their own on the road is pretty crazy. I imagine I don't even know what they call our thing now, if it's like AT&T or Southwest or Frostbank. It's a Frostbank Center. I don't know how crazy that place is going to be, especially if we're up 2-0 going in. That could be a nightmare for the Thunder, having to deal with all that.
For sure, man. Yeah, I mean, you take one from OKC, who probably has the best home court advantage, you could say. I mean, that's a raucous city. That's a city that has nothing else going on So
One-
they really
one-
love their basketball team.
Which San Antonio also, another one-team city. Very similar sizes, I think. San Antonio's probably a little bit bigger, but not much. It's all fun. I've got friends who are Thunder fans, so it's always fun to talk some crap with them. What else? I had something and then I forgot what it was going to be.
You wanted to ask the audience, does the OKC Thunder deserve to exist?
It's not their fault that they moved Seattle. It's not. You can't be mad at the new team. Just like the Dallas Stars, it's not my fault that some guy in Minnesota decided to just destroy everyone's lives and take the team away. But
Yeah, I was hoping. I'm hoping the audience at home is like, what is he talking about? You got to look up the deleted article, but in the Oklahoman, you just have to. You find that headline. It was.
I was just thinking about Seattle moving.
No.
Yeah, someone did post a mirror. I think that somebody found a way to get it back. I can send the link again.
I
Let me
screenshotted the headline.
Let me just
Believe
read
you
the
me.
headline. I think this was pretty funny. This is an opinion piece put out in the Oklahoman. Like Thunder, the team that's in brackets for context. Israel is an underdog that has become hated, and you do with that what you will.
There you go.
I had a friend of mine who's kind of a more he's even more casual basketball fan than I am, but he seems to enjoy it more than I do when we talk about it. He just, has other stuff to do with his life besides watch basketball all the time. But he's been texting me throughout the playoffs following Wemby, and I think about 3 minutes after the Thunder put Alex Caruso in, he was like, "Can we get this bald little bitch out of here?" I don't
Oh
remember.
my God.
It was just hilarious. Caruso, if he was on your team, would just be, you would love him. You would absolutely love him on your team. But man, he's so frustrating to play against.
He is the ultimate role player. I feel like he just, he'll never be a superstar player, but there'll be times where he'll have a game where he is outperforming some of the superstars from time to time because he has all this hustle, energy. He's just so fun to watch. It's a shame that he's on the Thunder, and then he used to be on the Lakers. He's just on teams that you don't want to root for.
Especially right now, it's such a luxury to have him off the bench. Like, that's really nice.
For sure.
Like, a lot of role players are still starters. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, for years, like in the Mavs, I mean, we had Jason Terry come off the bench. I'm like, that's it. That's a starting guard.
We had Manu Ginobili, who's definitely taken a pay cut to be to be that guy.
For sure.
Because he could have been leading a bunch of other teams to either the second or third round if he wanted to. Don't know if he would have won anything on his own. Hard to say, but I don't want that there.
He almost won an Olympic gold medal on his own. So there you go.
Oh, kind of basically did. Him and Fabricio Oberto. And was Splitter on that? Splitter might be too young to have been on that team.
Tiago Splitter's Brazilian. Is he not?
Brazilian. Right. You're right. That's offensive, and I'm sorry.
So that's offensive to him.
Yeah, I imagine just like Texas and Oklahoma, Brazil and Argentina probably get into it sometimes. But yeah, I mean, really, I think that's mostly covers it. Bethke would have definitely given you some more numbers and better context on all these things we've talked about. But I think we covered it as well as we can based on our level of paying attention.
There you go. Listen, I can't give you like this in-depth coverage that Bethke can, but I can give you a couple of bad jokes that may not land. And the most casual of casual observations that will piss off a hoop head who takes my opinion too seriously.
And that's what we need, more rage in the world.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess with that, we're going to get out of here in under an hour. It's going to be a beautiful week for us. See you next week, bud.
See you next week.